Hey guys, it's Rowan here from Art of Smart. Now, you've got an English assessment and it's coming up, and it's one of those painful ones because it's an unseen question. So you're expected to go into the exam 40 minutes, never seen the question, and somehow take all those quotes, those themes, those examples, those techniques, and mix them all up in a way that's amazing for that response. Pretty painful, right? It's one of those really difficult things, but it doesn't have to be. Over the last 8 years, I've interviewed thousands of students that have got ATARs over 98, state rankers, first, second, thirds in HSC English. And what I've discovered is that they have a really simple yet powerful strategy for preparing for these unseen questions for your English assessments, your HSC trials, and your HSC exams. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. This one simple strategy that will guaranteed change the results that you get in HSC English. So, what is this strategy? It's super simple and it's called the rule of three. That's right, the rule of three. How does it work? Step one, you write a draft essay. Now, you get an essay question for your module and your topic and you write a practice response. And the goal of that is just to put all those quotes, themes, examples in a place, into a form, so you've got them organized. That's step one. That's a fairly easy and standard step. Step two is where the rule of three kicks in. And the rule of three is essentially this. A week, 3 to 4 days before that assessment's due, you pull out that draft response that you've written, and then you get an entirely new question on the module. You then set a timer for 40 minutes, so you're recreating exam conditions, and then open book, using your draft essay as a guide, you write a new response in that time conditions to that new question. That's the first time. You rinse and repeat though. You do it a second time because it is the rule of three after all. And the second time you do this, you take a new question, so it's different again. But this time you still have a timer, 40 minutes, but you only use your draft response when you need it. So it's a partially open book run through. You keep your draft essay there, you've got it covered, and as you work on that essay, only when you get stuck, you take a peek, look at what you need, and then come back in and continue. So that's time number two. The final time for the rule of three. This time conditions again, no different. New question, no different, but it's entirely closed book. So your goal here is that you're not allowed to look at your draft essay or your notes or anything. You're going to recreate the exam conditions as perfectly as possible. Unseen question, timer, you've got to do your best from memory to put everything that you know down on paper in a way that's amazing and organized and responds perfectly to that question. That's it. That's the rule of three. Simple, right? So draft essay and then 1, 2, and 3 new questions, time conditions, the first time entirely open book, the second time partially open book, the third time entirely closed book. Now, why does this work? There's a couple of really key reasons state rankers found this to be a highly effective strategy. The first is that HSC markers are looking for any whiff, any sniff of a memorized response. So the danger that you have in trying to memorize an essay in its entirety is that if you go in and it's a different question, it doesn't quite work, you tend to still write what you've already got. And it means that you're not answering the question, and if markers get a feel that you've written a memorized response, they're going to penalize you. So memorizing essays isn't a great way to go in. What this approach allows you to do is something very powerful. Number one, by going through and doing the rule of three and going and writing a practice response 3 times, what you're actually doing is you're memorizing all those techniques, those quotes, those examples, those themes, because you're doing highly active repetition, which is a key to building memory. Secondly, because you're actually responding to different practice questions in practice, what you're also doing is developing a really powerful skill to be able to take all those ideas, quotes, and examples and remix it and apply it for different questions. And that's the real skill that you need in the exams and assessments, the ability to remix everything that you've got in a way that powerfully responds to the question you've been given. The third and final reason why it's so powerful as a strategy is it's also giving you basic pattern recognition. you're responding to different types of questions, you're doing practice runs on how you might take what you've got and adapt it. So when you go into the exam, the likelihood is that the question that you're given is of a similar nature to the practice that you've done. And you're already familiar and have a pathway on how you might respond to that. So, really simply, my big recommendation, guys, is if you want to excel in HSC English, and particularly in those assessments, exams, and trials when you've got an unseen question, apply the rule of three. It's guaranteed to make a huge impact on your results. So look, if you've got any more questions, please leave a comment below. I'd love to respond to your questions. It could be about English, but it could be about other subjects, or just studying and preparing for the HSC and transitioning to university. We'd love to help. We do regular videos, so pop your question below. Finally, if you're needing more help, we have an incredible team of tutors and mentors across Sydney and at our campus in Hornsby. So if you're needing more specific targeted help, you want more one-on-one support, and you also want to learn not just the content, but the process and the how, we'd love to help, so please get in touch. So guys, all the best for your HSC English. I hope you kick ass using this strategy.